Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back for another quick summer update. So, I've been kind of teasing something like this in the past few weeks worth of videos, and it's time for me to actually start doing something to that effect. So, there's going to be a little bit of an update to the schedule over the summer. I know we just barely got over a hiatus and all that, but, well, if you guys have been following some of the developments that have been happening over the channel this past few months, really, for most of this year, YouTube has not been kind to smaller channels. And it's kind of hurt because the bottom line is like, I work hard just as much as anybody else does. YouTube doesn't really want to acknowledge that and has made it harder for anybody to be able to get either a partner, be able to get some kind of funding either through Snapchat or whatever. They're just making it very difficult. And I've kind of hinted at this on the podcast, who knows how many times, but because of this and other reasons, some changes need to be made. The other reasons being, and I have no problem sharing this, is that in case you didn't know the news, we're expecting our second child in August. And so at that point, like, a lot of things have had to change. One of which was at the beginning of this year, I set a bunch of goals that needed to be done with growth in regards to the podcasts, in regards to the channel, in regards to everything, roughly, and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Because now with 2 kids, yeah, it's going to get more difficult and more time needs to be spent being a dad and helping out around the house than as opposed to working on podcasts and working on YouTube. And so I needed to kind of figure out which things in my agenda were kind of slacking off. And a lot of the stuff, unfortunately, was YouTube. So the podcasts have done really, really well, and I'm very happy about that. And we're going to continue to develop that because there's a lot of ideas that Alex and Romney, as well as myself, have brought to the table, and we're going to be implementing those over the summer to see how you guys like them. Yeah, that's an update all its own. I'm basically here to go over the YouTube updates. So, unfortunately, some things have been underperformers, and as much as I love doing them, I'm going to need to either look at putting them on a permanent hiatus, or I'm going to need to look to take a break from them to either clear up some time so that I can do other things, or also clear up some time for more actual money-making ventures, if that means getting a part-time job, if that means getting, if people don't already know that, like, I'm a stay-at-home dad, roughly. I do this work, and I do some other work on the side to be able to bring in some funding, but I'm pretty much a stay-at-home dad. And with 2 kids, that's not going to be a viable option. And if I need to get a part-time job, then something's got to fall by the wayside while I go work at wherever, at McDonald's, for crying out loud. So here's how the channel is going to change, at least for the summer. I don't know if these changes will be permanent. We'll have to see. But the way that things are going to change for the summer, first of all, the reviews aren't going anywhere because they are probably the best performers on the channel. And that blows my mind considering how late I usually am trying to get these reviews out. But they're going to stay. And we're going to stay at the pace that we're doing, and we're going to stay at the way that we're doing them. So those are going to be able to stay, and they're so few and far between that, you know, they can come in wherever, and it doesn't really affect things. The underperformers, however, have been recently, because of the hiatus to Diablo 2, I really do think that kind of hurt the playthrough. And so what I'm planning on doing, at least for the moment, is we're going to finish Diablo 2. I don't know if we'll pick up Diablo 3. I would need to look at the numbers before then. But we're going to push through and get Act 4 done so that we can then get Act 5 out of the way and at least get Diablo 2 done. And as you guys can already see, the day has changed. We're putting it solidly on Friday, so it's the end of the week, and that gives me time to go and grind or whatever I need to go and do. So Diablo, at least for the moment, is staying, but whether or not I do Diablo 3, I think is going to be entirely up to you guys. If you guys want that, if you guys want a Diablo 3 Necromancer run as soon as possible, then you're going to have to tell me that you want it. Because the bottom line is, I can't give it to you unless I know that. So right now, the plan as it stands is get through Diablo 2, and Diablo 3 is up in the air. The next thing I need to go over is the WoW content. As much as I love doing it, It unfortunately is also an underperformer on the channel. There are videos that do fairly well, but the WoW content is a good portion of my channel's content, and that becomes a little bit of a stressor throughout the week, especially when certain videos don't necessarily do all that well. So a lot of the changes that are going to be coming to the channel are around the WoW content. So let's go ahead and get into that. Currently, Tale of Drakfu runs twice a week. It started at 3 times a week, and then when we went to Legion content, it went to 2 times a week. It is now officially, as of next week, which would be, let me see if I can get you a date here, as of May 21st, goes to 1 day a week. There will only be a Monday upload of the Tale of Drakfu, simply because we're in Legion content, and if Battle for Azeroth wasn't literally on our heels, then we would basically go to Suramar's content with Tale of Drakfu, and then we take a break, and then eventually get to Battle for Azeroth. We're so close, though, that I'm just going to go ahead and cut it down to 1 day so that I can free up that hour to do other things, like editing podcasts, editing other programs, stuff like that. Dungeons & Drakfus, as of last week, finished Cataclysm dungeon content. Now, technically, we're still going to have one more video coming out called Legacy of Liara. I'm going to show you guys the end of the Molten Front, where you get a little bit more history into Liara, the flame druid who murdered Hamel Runetotem, or almost murdered him. He's not dead. Spoiler alert. But yeah, we're gonna get the Legacy of Liara out. But as of now, Dungeons and Drakfus is on a hiatus. We're not going to immediately bounce off into Mists of Pandaria content, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, there's enough changes coming to Battle for Azeroth that I'm wondering how dungeon runs and raids are going to work, so I need to actually kind of work that out. But also the fact that, yes, it is an underperformer, and in case you guys didn't see over the last couple of weeks, it takes a lot of time to be able to get all that stuff out. I mean, you know, we had Rise of the Zandalari, where we had a quest line video, and we had 2 dungeon videos. Then Firelands, we had 2 quest line videos, and then we eventually had a raid. And there's still going to be another video coming out for that. And this week alone, for the Hour of Twilight content, we had 3 dungeons and a raid. So, yeah, we're going to slow this down dramatically, and it's just going to go on an official hiatus while I can watch and see what World of Warcraft does in the future with Battle for Azeroth to see if dungeon runs are still going to be fairly easy to do solo. Because if not, then I need to go find a crew that will help me record this material. And so, yeah, it's going to be on a hiatus, at least for the summer. Now, the reason also for that is I want to free up that content for the highly asked for beta coverage. So here's the way that that's going to work. I've said it in a couple of videos. I'm going to do allied races and probably the intro to Battle for Azeroth, but I'm not going to go any further than that. So I already have plans for videos to do the unlock quests for the 4 allied races that you can get in-game right now: High Mountain Tauren, Nightborn, Lightforged Draenei, and Void Elves. And then I do have a beta key, so we are going to be doing the launch events, or at least the start. I don't think you actually get an unlock event for these guys, but we're going to be doing the starting zones for Dark Iron Dwarves and Magar Orcs. Now, if the beta allows me to do Kultiran humans and Zandalari trolls, then we'll do that too, but I haven't seen any indication that they're going to do that. If that changes, obviously, we'll take them on. We'll have some fun with it. And we're also going to do the intro events for both the Alliance and the Horde, mainly because you need that as an unlock to be able to make a Magar Orc and a Dark Iron Dwarf. And that's going to be it. Like, I know a lot of people want me to go into Kultiras, want me to go into Zandalar. Tale of Drakfu will go into Zandalar. That's going to happen. It may happen a little bit slower than people would like, but it's going to happen. And who knows, after the summer, I might pick things up to 2 days a week again for Tale of Drakfu just to get to Zandalar so you guys can see that. I haven't figured that out yet. Again, the summer is kind of a time for hiatus. And that's the plan. So we're going to get the allied races and the beta coverage in there, but also I plan on doing a couple of top 10s for WoW in regards to the top 10 starting zones for the Alliance, for the Horde, and for Neutral. Neutral is basically going to be where you start off in another faction, but eventually make your way to the 2 factions. So that'll probably come out first, and then you'll get the best Alliance and the best Horde starting zones, and whatever top 10s that I can really fit into that time. But most of that time is being freed up for other more money-making ventures. So that's the WoW content. Andrea, the playthroughs with Andrea aren't really changing because we pre-record a lot of that crap, and so they're going to come out in a weekly fashion. They might come out a little bit slower than usual, but they're coming. Final Fantasy isn't really, it's an underperformer, but as I've committed, what might happen with it, I don't know for a fact yet, is Final Fantasy VII will finish, and then I'm just going to look at the numbers and see whether or not I want to do Final Fantasy VIII. It's just going to have to be that way because I don't know what kind of time I'm going to have going forward. And that's pretty, like, I don't want to talk you guys' ears off, but that's basically what's going to be changing for the summer is you're going to see a little bit of a gap in the middle of the week. And the main reason I'm doing that gap is to either put in reviews or to work on other content that will be able to earn some money around here in order to be able to put food in my kids' bellies and beds for them to sleep in and clothes for them to wear. And it's not because I'm doing this maliciously or anything like that, but YouTube's kind of forced my hand here. I really do need to do something that has financial backing so that I can bring it here and be a provider here along with my wife. And so that's just basically what's going to happen here. And that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to be able to watch this video. Thank you so much for your love, support, and your patience. I really do appreciate them. It doesn't look like I do a whole lot of hard work here, but I do. And I bust my butt to be able to get the videos out as quickly as I am able to. And some weeks, that's not the easiest thing. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. And of course, we'll be back in time for the next video.